What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to go over Jafonso, the pro player's tactics. I believe he's top 5 in the world, and I think a lot of you guys will actually like this tactic in comparison to all the other pro players' tactics. It's a bit of a unique one as well. This is how it lines up in game. So from the attacking stance, we've got Dembele as the inside forward. Interestingly enough, he plays one player on a winger and one player inside forward. There could be numerous reasons for this, potentially maybe when he's attacking down the right hand side, he wants to use Dembele as that player coming in. So when I show you the gameplay in a second, just do bear that in mind, because there could be a high chance that the way he plays this is use the right hand side to go down the middle, but what he does on the left hand side is he uses that play maybe to go down the wing, does a player lock, or maybe just use the L1 triangle over the top. So we're going to go through that in a gameplay. I'm going to show you that movement in the live gameplay. We're going to go through it, the live footage as usual. He's got advance forward for the striker, and for the cam he has a playmaker plus, and for both the CDMs he has holding defend.
You want to get better at FC25 now? Before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? That's the Nil Guys guarantee. We got in-depth tutorials that are not even on the YouTube channel. We show you the theory of something, and we show you gameplay examples in a structured format. We also go over real-life football examples that apply to the game and exclusive pro gameplay analysis, full gameplay analysis to elevate your game. We teach you everything from the basics to the meta. Come join at patreon.com/Nil Guys. Links down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guys guarantee. Links down below in the description.
It's honestly my personal preference. I'm moving a bit more towards deep line playmaker, but I like at least one of the CDMs. If you do have CDMs, on holding CDM, I think holding is very, very underrated. I think just the way they're always in the right place at the right time. Both the left backs and right backs on fullback defend, which most of you guys would like. And I think why this is interesting is this is a 4-2-3-1 second variation. It's still a top 5 formation. People think it's not, but it really is up there. It's identical to the 4-4-1-1. So if you like the 4-4-1-1, but you need CDMs, this is the kind of formation for you. Now, we're going to go over this. He is basically playing balanced and high 70 depth, but we're going to go over this. I'm also going to show you the gameplay. And then at the end of the day, or end of the clip, I'm going to show you where does it rank in terms of my tactics reviews, and also any changes if I do make them, so you can use it as a casual player. Because don't forget, a lot of these pro players, don't forget they're very, very high level, do a lot of things manually. If you don't do those things, the formation that may not work the same way as you want it. Okay, now let's go with the gameplay example. So you can see the main benefit you really do get with that 4-2-3-1 is that defense stability with his CDMs. Now, as I mentioned to you, look at Dembele on the right-hand side. Do you see Dembele? Do you see how he's basically coming a bit more inward and he's not staying as wide? So you can see that is the main thing of having Dembele as inside forward. He will stay a bit wider here initially, but have a look. When I go towards the final third, let's say, for example, I overlap on the right-hand side. I'm just going to overlap here. What he would do normally in the final third is you can see he's outside the box, but he makes his way inside the box, which I'm going to push him in like so. You see that? And because that player's got that position there, you see Wanyero's got that position, so he's going to stay in that range, kind of in between the half space. And that is one of the key benefits of having someone on inside forward. But you can see in the opposite end, when we bring the ball to the other side, have a look at Rashford, right? So Rashford, look, have a look at him on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. When we come back defensively, you can see he's coming back. Now, interesting, don't forget they did adjust how the left wings come back, or left mid, should I say, in the winger position. But you can see when we have the ball here with Mendy, you can see with Rashford, he's staying quite wide. Now, this gives us an option to do an L1 triangle over the top. You see that? So whereas inside forwards are naturally a bit more centralized, having that player that's wider gives the outlet. So if you like to use this is why I think a combination of plays is very, very good, because let's say, in theory, you like to use the combination of a wide play. So let's say I have the ball with Mendy, and let's say I'm going to build up in the middle, and I get the ball, for example, like here. And let's just say, for example, like here, did a 1-2, and I overlapped. I could, for example, have that player wide as possible, that player be an outlet, and then I can pass the ball inside the box like so, and then try to create the angle. So these are the few movements you got to look out for. So when you play, for example, 2 players on different instructions, or different roles, should I say, it gives you 2 different styles of play. Let's have a look at how they come back defensively. So you can see here, I've got my controller down. You can see Dembele coming back, but so is Rashford. They're basically coming around the same region here. So from the defensive standpoint, the benefit is that they're going to be close and tucked into you. And that way, when they're close to the defense, it's going to help you with the build-up play. So indirectly, one of the benefits of having a left mid and right mid is because they do come back defensively, they can help with a build-up play as well. But I think if you are going to use this angle, for example, like here, with the left wing or winger, you got to utilize it. So whereas that's going down the wing and doing a skill moves or whatever you want to do, getting the width in your team, But that's why I think it's good. I think it's also good for an exit strategy. Let's say, for example, you're under pressure, and let's say there's a lot of pressure going towards you. So let's say what my opponent did there is swinging the ball to his Rashford on the opposite side. That's a nice goal. Don't know what happened there. But you see, that's the real benefit you can see with Rashford. Have a look on the radar 1 second. Do you see how Rashford is basically same width, but when I go towards here, into this region here, then he goes wider. You see that? Whereas Dembele is coming in. So that is one of the benefits you do have, is having Rashford as that player. And if you can time your passes and get them perfectly, it's perfect to use Rashford down the wing in this region to try to get opportunity to score a goal. So that is one effective thing. Now, one thing I like about left mids and right mids, especially left mids and right mids, is let's say, for example, you lose the ball. And this is in with CDMs, right? Let's say, for example, like here, you lose the ball. The benefit is you have 2 CDMs. So as long as you don't do anything crazy and you run back with your centre back, you're not really going to get caught. It's only if you lose the ball, for example, like here in these extreme situations where, let's say, you're in this situation here, rather unlucky with the goalkeeper, but it's only in those situations you'll lose the ball because you have both of those CDMs and holding. And why I like CDMs and holding, I'm going to show you an example, right? So let's say you're building up normally, you lose the ball. They're always in the right place at the right time. Like you can see both my CDMs. Look, this is my CDM over there. You can see Militao and Tonali. So you can see, look, I'm just going to lose the ball deliberately to show you an example. Now they help with the play. If I need them, look, they're always there. Look, they're always there. But you see how they sit in that reserved position. They're not sitting too far away. But that way, if I do lose the ball, they run back into position. And all I have to do is just run back a little bit more. And you can see, like here, I'm defending my CDM. And I'm able to recover that situation. So that is one of the key benefits of really why I like this holding CDMs. Now, the only downside I would say, well, it's not really a downside. The upside is the left back and right back. As you can see, they don't go forward when you attack. This is what's better. Now, people say, oh, but don't you lose the attacking threat? Well, if you want to push a player forward, you just press the L1 plus X button, and then you can manually push that player forward when you want to. And have a look. That player will go forward up until the point they're offside. Now, watch that right back. That right back's running back, and then he stays in position. So if you want to, what you could do is do a 1-2, let that player help join in the attack. And just before they go offside, you can play the ball to them like so, and use them for the attack. For example, like here, get the overlap. And then when you lose the ball, they're going to return back into the position. So if you do want to push your fullbacks forward, you can use fullback balance. But what I always advocate is, and that's one thing, you see how the ball was switched there? Imagine if my Mendy was going forward there, I would have lost the ball and I could have got countered. So that is one of the key benefits that I really, really like. So let's say, for example, like here, if I'm going to introduce the play, I'm press the L1 button, push that player forward. Good play for my opponent. I'm going to push, look, I'm pressing L1, I'm pushing Dalot forward. See that? So I'm pushing Dalot forward, I'm pushing him forward again. That way I can double up on that side. And that way I push that player wide. I've committed a right back, and now I can go forward. And I'm just going to do a typical thing that everyone is doing nowadays. Pass the ball on the outside. And all I've got to do is just rotate the ball and wait for opportunity. Driven pass, bad defending. And almost got the goal there. But that's just an example of what I was talking about. Now, the key thing is, look, you do have your depth. One thing I would say fine on the depth is your depth is on high. So I want to... There's not that much to show you here because we're pretty sure we all know how this formation plays. The depth is high. So when you lose the ball, you can go and you press. But the benefit is because you have CDMs, you have those safety nets. So even if you over press, you kind of have that, okay, if I mess up, at least I've got my CDMs and my back form position. So I would say for a lot of you, this could be a very good starting formation, maybe an alternative 4-2-3-1 if you would like. The difference between this and the 4-2-3-1, if you think about it, or let's just say more commonly the 4-2-1-3, which is what everyone is using, it's left mids and right mids and left wings and right wings. There's not that much difference in between them apart from that. Okay, now, so going over his tactics. Now, what do I think of them? I think they're a very good tactic. I think a lot of you guys will actually really like the tactic. It's a very well balanced formation, both offensively and defensively, and it gives you two different outlets. Before we go into my changes, I think the staple formation as it is actually very, very good. Where would it go in terms of my tactics list if I had to review them? I think, okay, my 4-2-3-1 is a bit of a high level tactic. Maybe the argument would be that for most people it would be better just because it's very balanced, and I think that is the key thing, because this formation is very balanced. So the argument is I'm actually going to put it just below that. So I'm going to say I want to put Jafonso's here. And don't forget, it is a 4-2-3-1 second variation, which is the wide variation. I'm going to put his tactic here. I think it's a very balanced tactic. It can work on both ends. It does attack in that 4-2-3-1 wide, and it also defends in that 4-2-3-1 wide. So I think personally it's a very good formation. It'll probably go just above mine, because I think with the left back attacking wing back, possibly is a bit too attacking, and maybe you don't need it. And I think if I was to make any changes, to be honest, I think it's a very good tactic. One thing that you could probably do, and what I'd recommend, is counter. I say this for a lot of the tactics. A lot of professional players, don't forget, they're using a lot of L1 triggers. You see how I move my left back and right back in those clips, as I showed you, a lot of 1-2s. If you're not doing that, then you need to use the counter build-up style, because otherwise you will find yourself not moving those players around, and you need to. So I definitely would recommend counter. Honestly, for the rest, I wouldn't even make any changes. I think it's very, very good. It's similar to what I would use. You could put Shadow Strike on the cam, that makes it a bit more offensive, but the benefit is the cam being on balance, playmaker balanced. They're basically positioned in the middle, so they're not too far away from the defense, so you can always bring them back if you need to. I'll see if I can throw some gameplay examples here when you can see Ranieri's positioning with the ball and without the ball. So he doesn't stay forward, he kind of comes back and helps defend. And then, for example, with Dembele, as I showed you in the beginning of the clip, and you can see over here, I'll add it in, Dembele, he kind of tucked inside a little bit, and then whereas Rashford, for example, he stayed wider. So it gives you that alternative play. You can also tinker with, for example, the left CDMs, one of them, if you really want to, you can put one of them a deep line playmaker. Maybe the argument could be on the left hand side, and the reason why is if you put, let's say, a player here who's got the long ball play style, let's say, or someone that can distribute the ball, if you have here a winger, they can drop deep, and you can combine with these two players over here. So have the combination between your left back and your left CDM, and then you can use, for example, the long ball tactic to bring the ball into the winger. And that is why I think this would be a viable option. I'm just trying to make it a bit simple, as opposed to doing anything elaborate with player locks or anything. But don't forget, this is something that the pro players will use. But overall, I think it's a very, very good tactic. If you are going to use my variation, it's the exact same tactic. All it is, just add a counter in, but I'll add the code. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you want to get better FC, come to my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/NoGuys. If you don't give after 1 month, we'll refund your money. No Guys guarantee. Links down below in the description and the comment section pinned down below. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace.